Let's continue the show and talk about, after a great career, great jobs, fun assignments.
Yeah, you bet.
I mean, it wasn't like you couldn't find good work. Where you were getting really meaty stuff. Well, it seemed like a good life.
Why did I do it?
Yeah, why launch your own show?
Well, I figured it out, Richard. There's a very, very big difference between going to bed tired at night and waking up weary in the morning. And when you wake up weary in the morning, you're not really looking forward to what you're doing. It's time to move on. And I'd always loved, you know, as I'd gotten older, I'd loved this idea of the problem solving. And I really wanted to work on clients that interested me without, incidentally, the sort of, you know, the New York corporate looking over my shoulders telling me what clients to take and what not to. So I had a number of clients who were kind enough to say, if you ever do it, let us know. And one of those was Anthea Disney, who was at the time, still is, I should say, the top-ranking woman at News Corp,
which is Rupert Murdoch's company,
yep,
one of the largest international media companies.
Huge. And Anthea called me up, and she at the time had taken on an assignment as CEO of HarperCollins.
A book publisher. The
book publisher, #2 book publisher in the world. And like so many of them, they were bleeding badly. And she had to take some very, very tough decisions, including some massive layoffs. But she had to do some things to basically change the way the publishing industry was done. Get rid of the sort of the books on, you know, 101 Ways with Peanut Butter, and concentrating on the big blockbusters that could play across multiple platforms.
Which is what happened to that industry. It became the big blockbuster industry instead of like a whole lot of small books.
And she was really to the forefront of turning that around. But, of course, a lot of people did not. She took a lot of flack, And
that was your job.
It was my job, because I knew this was a short-term assignment for her, #1, and I wanted to be able to create an opportunity for her to put what she was doing in a business context, and also ensure that when she moved on to the next assignment, she basically came through it untainted as a smart businesswoman, not somebody who sort of had a cut-and-thrust approach to her employees. And she's, of course, gone on now. She's, you know, head of all of content for News Corp across all of the platforms.
One time she was the CEO of TV Guide. I know that.
Yeah, she went. That's right. Took that company public. And that was a really interesting.
And that's what you like to do. This is reputation management relative to the CEO.
Yeah, that's right. That's it.
You've had some really fun clients too that may not be executives necessarily, but you know, very high-profile women. Why don't you talk about a couple of those?
Well, let me think. Sally Ride, I helped her launch her new company when she stopped being an astronaut. Laura Schlesinger, who was the talk show host, I had the lucky experience of working with Laura when she, you know, she couldn't get an article written on her, and she was really on the uprise. I left before the rest. And then actually I think another really intriguing one that I loved doing was Dr. Karen Stanford, and I'll back into it. Karen Stanford was a congressional scholar. She was a PhD, university professor, but she also happened...
Is that why she was in all the media?
She had, well, if only. That wouldn't have been a bad reason to be in. She was in the media because she was the mother of Jesse Jackson's love child. And I got a call out of the blue one day saying, you know, could I help her after the story broke? And I said, absolutely. And again, that was reputation management, because we had to get her through that. And this is not easy when you've got cameras parked on your lawn, when you've got calls coming from the media 24/7. But I told her, I said, what you've got to do is you cannot have a knee-jerk reaction. We're going to get through it. We're not going to respond to everything. We're going to take the high road. And then we're going to do one print interview and one TV interview. And we did the the print interview. And I had an interesting experience. I was standing in the office of a friend of mine, and I had Diane Sawyer's office on one phone and Barbara Walters on the other, pleading for the interview with Karen Stanford.
They were your best friend then.
They were, yeah. They won't take my calls now. But we did get through it, and Karen is a remarkable woman, still a very good friend, has gone on to another academic life elsewhere.
So on the national stage, you've represented in reputational management a lot of very impressive women.
Yeah.
But how about in Orange County? You have some
well, you know,
examples
Orange County has its own really arsenal of extraordinarily impressive women. I mean, let's think. You know, Melinda Masson, who 25 years ago started Merrick Property Management, now grazing just south of 50 million with 400 employees. Sue Parks, Sue, who was a #2 ranking businesswoman at Kinko's, decided to go it alone and launch her company, Walk Styles. Which
and
is
you've done business with her both with Kinko's and with the current company.
I did. I worked with Sue on both of those. And then, you know, Kathy Bronstein. Kathy Bronstein, who was very publicly fired from the Wet Seal.
Right, very ugly.
Very ugly after 11 spectacular years and two modest quarters. And actually, we need
What have you done for me lately?
Well, we have to call her the comeback kid because, you know, you're hearing it here for the first time. I was with Kathy the other day and she told me that she's just bought into a small company that has a retail outlet and a manufacturing outlet. So I think we have not heard the last of Kathy Bronstein.
Now, all these women you just mentioned have, I'm going to segue, have either spoken as our keynoter or been a recipient, like you have, of the Outstanding Woman in Business Awards program.
Yeah.
You were one of those recipients. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your experience when you were one of the winners out of 150 nominees?
It was an extraordinary experience because I was relatively new in the community, first of all. And the first thought I had was, oh my God, why did I cancel the appointment to have my hair roots done that day? As I sort of walked up to the stage. But
so you weren't expecting to win?
I was not expecting to win, and it was really a thrill. And I have to say, you know, I got very lucky because when I first came to Orange County, I had the great good fortune to meet Judy Rosner. And Judy, who is a pistol, I mean, we all know Judy, I think, and she said to me, jump on my coattails. I'm going to take you for a wonderful ride and introduce you to all of these people. And she really did. And, you know, she's certainly the expert in gender differences. So I have knelt at the seat of the mistress, or I suppose you shouldn't really say that, but I've knelt at Judy Rosner's seat as
Judy's
much
called
as I
worse.
can.
She's a great lady. I've known her for a long time.
Yeah, she's
a
lovely.
professor at UC Irvine.
She is indeed.
Been published by the Harvard Business Review, speaks on these issues to large corporate groups.
And still recognized around the world for the work she's doing.
Talk a little bit about Buzz, speaking about, you know, outstanding women.
Yeah, Buzz is great. Buzz is a conference I started here with my New York partner about 2 years ago. And I did it because there were a couple of similar conferences in New York, but I thought, what's the device to bring these women together? How can we put on a conference that is a business conference that is looking at issues that are going to affect business, but brings the perspective of women? So it's invitation only. We have about 100 top-ranking women from around the country, and we take on these issues.
And you're going to continue to do these. You've done 2 already.
As long as you know, great sponsors continue to support us, we will continue to do it. It's really terrific.
And you do a piece for Orange Coast Magazine on a regular basis, broadly speaking. What's that
That's
about?
called Broadly Speaking BS. That was purely by chance.
I didn't realize.
We give everybody a little BS pin. And when I first came to Orange County, I was aware that all of these, you know, I came with my East Coast sort of sense of superiority that nothing could go on here. And when I learned that there were all these extraordinary women, I went to Ruth Coe, the publisher of the magazine, said, how can we bring them all together? And we came up with this idea of bringing 5 together every other month, of leading women, putting them around a table, taking on a topic. And then it becomes an article 2 months later. And we've had some great... New Century is the current sponsor of that series, and it seems to be going extremely well.
You also do a lot of work in the community. What are some of the things you're involved with?
Well, not as much as I would like, which is, you know, I suppose just one of those things. But I'm involved with the Women's Philanthropy Fund.
What is that?
The Women's Philanthropy Fund was a remarkable endeavor started by Sue Parks in conjunction with United Way. And it was based on this idea that women now had the financial heft collectively to make a difference to the county. So we all make a contribution every year.
So a minimum of $10,000.
It's a minimum of $10,000 a year, and it's been going now for 3 or 4 years. We are now more than 140 women. We've raised more than $4 million, and the money goes to a number of different charities, but has a focus on women to give them financial empowerment.
Do other communities have similar organizations?
As I understand it, there are some that do under United Way, but this one, under Sue's leadership, has won recognition actually around the country as being the most successful. And
we just have a minute left. Why don't you just give one insight, because you're something of an expert on the status of women in business. What is the status of women in business today?
Well, let me give it to you locally in the 1 minute. Orange County is really unusual. I was speaking to the new head of NABO the other day, Camille Jane, and she was telling me that in this county, 47% of the businesses are women-owned. We contribute $39 billion to the economy. And if you put that within the context nationally, only 28% of companies nationally are owned by women. And why it is, Richard, I'm not really sure, but I think part of it is women are extraordinarily supportive of women in this county. They have, for whatever reason, chosen to go it alone, open their own businesses, and they're doing it right. It's in a very, very supportive community.
In the last few seconds, would you agree that women are doing better in starting their own businesses than they are in moving up the ranks in corporate America?
They are still doing much better in the entrepreneurial ranks. We have a long, long way to go still in corporate America, but we're trying.
Well, on that note, I think we'll say goodbye. Thank you so much.
Richard, it's a real pleasure, and great good luck with the event.
Thank you. Before we close the program, let me invite you all to attend one of the biggest business events, period, of the year in Orange County, the Orange County Business Journal's Women in Business Awards program. We're expecting over 1,000 people this year, and the keynote address will be given by Christy Hefner, the chairman and CEO of Playboy Enterprises. To register for the lunch, which will take place at the Irvine Hyatt on May 25th, log on to our website, www.ocbj.com. The Cable Business Journal is brought to you by Cox Communications, your local cable operator, and the Orange County Business Journal. Each month, we bring you a business leader who makes a difference in a vibrant business community. Thank you for joining us today. And Michelle, once again, thank you so much for being my guest.
Richard, a pleasure. Thank you.